Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. I wanted to read you something. It's an article. It's from CNN, so you know it's going to be left-leaning because, well, that's what that filthy rag does. But I wanted to read you the quotes from a police officer, acting police chief in Rochester, New York. So it says the title is Rochester Shooting. 2 people were killed and 14 wounded during backyard party shooting. All right, the article says a man and a woman were killed and 14 other people were wounded in a shooting at a backyard party early Saturday in the upstate New York city of Rochester. Police said police are trying to determine who and how many people opened fire. No suspects were in custody and no motive was immediately known. Acting Police Chief Mark Simmons told reporters before dawn. The 2 people who died were between 18 and 22 years old, Simmons said, without releasing their names, of course. You shouldn't release the names before you notify the family. That's just a common courtesy. The 14 wounded are from 17 to 23 years old and were taken to two hospitals with what are believed to be non-life-threatening injuries, police said. Several dozen rounds were fired, police said in a news release. And Simmons goes on to say, this is truly a tragedy of epic proportions, if you ask me. 16 victims is unheard of. Then CNN gives its, liberal spin about Daniel Pruitt, and that actually takes up most of the article because, they're a leftist rag and couldn't do fair and honest reporting regardless of what, because people being shot at a party has nothing to do with Daniel Pruitt. Now, here's the only point where the whole Daniel Pruitt thing comes into play. Remember, most of Rochester and most of New York's police leadership, or all of them, I think, have resigned because of the way the mayor is treating them. Because they feel like nobody has their back. The mayor and the governor, they feel like they're out there alone. New York is releasing criminals left and right. But it's not so much what this cop says during the interview, it's what he doesn't say. So I'm going to read you a couple more quotes from him. He says, we could see and observe multiple victims with gunshot wounds at that time. It was around 12:25 a.m. when they were called out. And he said there were 100 people running down the street in a very chaotic scene. Go and find his next quote. Here you go. This is from Simmons. For our community, which is right now going through so much, to have to deal with a tragedy like this, needlessly for people who decide to act in a violent manner, is unfortunate and shameful, Simmons said early Saturday. We're going to do everything that we can as a department to bring those involved to justice. Rochester Mayor Lovely Warren asked the community for prayers and support for all involved. They released a statement. She released a statement saying, I'm begging everyone to remain calm and exercise deep restraint as RPD investigates what happened here and seeks those responsible. As soon as additional information is available, the police department will provide updates on this matter. Please keep our city in your continual prayers. Now, I don't know whether this mayor is a Democrat or Republican. I'm going to assume Republican, and here's why. You don't see that divisiveness between this mayor and the acting police chief. If it was a Democrat mayor, you can bet they would have screamed something about gun control. Now, for the people who actually have to go out there, pull over cars, and actually deal with criminals with guns every day, you notice what you almost never find cops calling for? More gun control laws. As a matter of fact, what do you find around the nation? When some of these gun control laws are being enacted, the cops actively either won't enforce them or protest against them. From my understanding, now you have cops joining militias. Militias are very strong Second Amendment. So now ask yourself, well, if these are the people that deal with criminals with guns, why aren't they calling for more gun control laws? Because they know they don't work. So what you see in these Democrat-run cities, remember Oregon, when they were having the riots, which Trump very smartly shut down, and the way he did it was genius. He pretty much deputized the Oregon State Patrol as federal officers, which meant now, when they arrest somebody, they go through the federal process, the federal courts, and not the local courts, because the Oregon State Patrol had refused to come into Portland, because when they were there, they were arresting people, and those people would be out and committing more riots, committing more crime before the officers even finished their paperwork for that shift. So, and they said, no, we're not doing it. We're not going to risk our officers. So President Trump stepped in and said, well, I'll deputize you, then they can come through the federal system. Remember, a few of those people got like 20 years, or are facing charges for up to 20 years. So that's just if you look, the dichotomy. And that tells you how much we need our Second Amendment. If cops are telling you not to drop your Second Amendment, and they're against gun control laws, you as an average everyday citizen, and most of you just went out and got guns for the first time, I hope you get some training to go with those new firearms. You got to support the Second Amendment. So, but it's just something interesting when I was reading through the article this morning that I noticed right away. You didn't see him up there or the mayor say, oh, we need stricter gun control laws. No, the problem is in places like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Seattle, is you already have so many strong gun control laws that the average citizen doesn't want to go through the process to get a gun to protect themselves. In places like Chicago and New York, even if they go get a gun, they can only keep it in their house. Well, what happens when you're walking down the street and you get attacked outside your house? That's just something that caught my eye. So thank you for watching this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. I just wanted to share the article with you because I was kind of understanding how this cop was thinking. You notice he put the blame square on the criminal, not the gun, the criminal. Good job for that acting sheriff and for that mayor. I hope you catch them. Hope they spend a lot of time in jail. Hell, I hope they get a death penalty. You killed 2 people. So, all right. Thank you for watching this episode. Like, subscribe, hit me up.